Welcome! We play Tzolkin the Mayan calendar. Alright, just give me over here. Right, we're playing 4 players. We've got Martin holding the camera.
Hi.
Me, Jason. We've got Gandash, the Wind Tunnel Wizard. And John, the Sleepy Bachelor.
Thanks.
Right, we're playing Tzolkin. It's a new board game that Martin got for his birthday. It's basically a worker placement game. Objective is victory points totals, as you can see by the side of the board. We'll be placing our little meeples into areas. Once we've got them in, the days will turn and we will gain resources once we remove the meeples. To gain victory points, we gain up the temples or down here on the track over here.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what it's called either now, yeah.
The chicken pizza.
It's the sacred place, I think.
And at the end of the game, when we have resources, they transfer into victory points as well. The other ways of gaining abilities, you've got technology track over here, and a building and monument track over there, and of course the cubes and crystal skulls.
Yeah. It's probably worth pointing out that none of us have played this yet, so we're a little bit... We know how to play, but we don't know what to do.
So the game's going to go on and we're going to basically try it out. We'll do a little bit of a turn overviews as we go, and then right at the end we'll give you a quick synopsis of what we thought and if it's worth it or not. I bet you Martin's going to think it's worth it. He's already bought it.
Well, I hope so, yeah.
Alright, we've reached the first quarter of the game. When one of these tracks reaches that point, we have to pay for all our meeples on the table, and when it reaches that way it'll be half point. So basically no one has scored any victory points yet, but Martin and this is Ashen?
Ashen, yep.
Are on their way to trying to get one of those crystal skulls inserted into that chicken eater. The rest of us have basically just been moving up on the temple and moving up on the technology chart, gaining some resources.
I think Ashen's built a building as well.
Yeah, he's built one building over there. And so far it's just planning ahead, I think.
Yeah.
There's nothing much going on at this point other than collecting resources and trying to build for the future. So let's see how the second quarter goes.
Yep. Okay,
so we've reached halfway, which is indicated by the blue turquoise sign over there. We've had some movement on the victory point track. Ashen has stormed ahead on 22 points, mainly thanks to one of these crystal things over here, which gave him 8 victory points and moved him up on the temples, which is where he got his most points from. He was the highest here and he was joint highest over there, so that's moved him up nicely. Martin's in second place over here. He also got one of the crystal things and a bit on the temples. I'm languishing in third, and John has yet to get off the mark.
Dead last.
But he's doing alright in terms of a monument built, which will give him 8 victory points.
Well, he's got 8 points in the bank for now.
Yeah, for every wood he gets, he'll get another 4.
Giggity.
So that's not too bad. Other than that, we're just building up resources again. We've got a second tier buildings come in, and we're into the third age. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay, so we've reached the third age, which is the brown one, which score victory points. No, we gain resources on this track. Ashen is still in the lead on 29, Martin 19, and me and John are still down at the bottom. John's still on 0, but he's not doing too badly.
Now, he's got a nice setup, I think.
Yeah, he gains victory points for each log. He's gaining some logs over there. We've moved up a little bit on these temple tracks.
Yeah, we've realised that they're actually quite useful.
Well, the last part of the game is this quarter here, and we will get the turquoise one, which means we'll score victory points for the temples and whatever we get down here, plus the end of the game stuff. So this is the last stretch to gain as much victory points as we can, but also to keep paying the resources for your dudes. In this turn I bought the temple, the monument that gives me resource for grain, and
I think we're all started to build buildings and monuments now. See, John's got his monument there ready for the end. I've started to invest in some buildings now, and I've got the top tier of the building technology over here.
And Ashen's going heavy on the temples.
Yep, he certainly is. He's become quite devout. You can see the old Chichi or whatever it's called is filling up now, and it seems Jason and Ashen are kind of racing to kind of get their places in there. So that's it, and there's quite a lot of fighting for survival, I think, going on. It does feel like you're scrambling to try and get victory points, but it's quite hard.
Alright, let's go with our stretch.
Okay.
Alright, so Tzolkin has ended, and it has ended in a tie. I stormed up the back to level it up with Ashing.
As is his prerogative.
As he always does, that's true.
So all my corn-fed people that have shot me up the back there.
I'm talking about that, man. Making me feel uncomfortable.
Clench, man, clench.
Right, so basically, as I said, Ash and I tied for first place on 62 points. Martin's in third with 42, and John bringing up the rear.
As is his prerogative.
With 33. 33.
33.
Yeah.
3. Which isn't that bad considering he was on nothing.
Until the end of this turn.
Yeah. I also don't think we realised we need to score points until about the midpoint of the game as well. So I think we did okay considering.
Yeah. So overall, what did you guys think of the game? Martin, since it's your game, you go first.
I liked it. I like worker placement games. I think it was really good. So a lot more difficult to think of what to do, I think, than things like Stone Age and Lords of Waterdeep and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of, if I put this here, when's my best return to take it back and all that, and it's possible as well to really screw yourself over. Looking at like the last turn, myself and John both had basically nothing to do on the last turn because we'd put people down in incorrect timing and whatnot. So I think in a future game, I'll probably think about the end game a little bit more and how that's going to work and whatnot. But
this gear mechanic is really clever.
Very clever, yeah.
I mean, when you put your things down, and I suppose some people can really think out far ahead with the time. But every turn, I'm thinking, Christ, where's it going to land?
Yeah.
What do I need to get to that position? What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I liked it. Really difficult. The gear mechanic confuses stuff, and it's not only is it timed on who gets to go where, but it also messes up with, okay, I can only afford to put it there, but somebody else has put it there, so have I got a backup plan?
What did you guys think? I mean, I was the only one who had a fourth person.
Yeah.
And I actually think that helped me quite a bit.
I think so as well. As I said to you about midpoint through the game, I wish I'd got another person, but unfortunately, it was at that point actions were a real sort of prerogative, and it was quite hard to get that final or that fourth person. I really wanted to have another person there.
I thought John was in a great position to get another person because he started with this free food thing and got
free. Yeah. The only thing I have taken out of this is that carpentry is not the way to go. The money.
John's going to start an IKEA.
The money and the winnings are in cornflakes. That's all I can
and religion.
And
religion was good.
Yeah.
Religion.
Bizarrely enough, turns out not knowing what the hell I'm doing did set me up kind of with a skull and
exactly where you were going.
I had no idea until about just after the first food phase when I went, okay, let's start crystal skulls.
Yeah. No, well, funnily enough, I thought this wheel here was actually probably the shittest, although I did have a suspicion that it was going to be quite useful in the long run. And as you can see, pretty much all the positions, there's 2 available positions, ironically the first and the last, because obviously that's a very good, sure way to get a decent amount of victory points and raise yourself up over here on the temple track, which is also another good way to get victory points. I threw my lot in with buildings quite a lot, and I think I could have probably done that better with getting some buildings or monuments specifically which benefited from buildings, which unfortunately I kind of realised that a bit too late. I mean, most of the monuments we have here, that one would have been lovely because my tech's quite high. And then there's 2 on the end here which would have both benefited from. But it was one of those things you kind of realise, I think it's another game, a little bit like World Without End and whatnot. You need to kind of think, right, or Stone Age in fact as well. How am I going to win? How am I going to get victory points? And then work on that from the get-go rather than sort of formulate your plan as you go.
I thought it was quite interesting. If it wasn't for John's carpentry skills, I wouldn't have done nearly as well.
You know, I was going to pick up your second piece of tech.
Yeah.
I'd aimed to just focus on the
what they're talking about here, John has a monument here where every wood he gets from the jungle area, he gets 4 victory points. And Jason has the one, which, zoom in on that, is for every corn. Unfortunately, the way the jungle works is that the corn are underneath the wood. So John was taking the wood and then exposing the corn for
For me
Jason.
to come along and sue for them
So,
up.
so everything John did, it basically gave Jason 4 victory points as well.
And not also did the corn give me victory points, but the corn is like the currency in this game.
Absolutely, yeah. It allows you
Yes,
to,
so
to
the
put
corn was-
people on the board as
Yeah,
well.
and paying for my food, paying for all my resources. It was awesome. I was like, John's my nod to you, man.
It's clever. I thought none of the gears felt redundant to me either. It was good.
No, I thought all of them were good. I mean, this one was brilliant, where you could choose. It's like a wild card. You can choose anything on the board
Except that.
except those. Yeah, and that one I used that one quite a lot, especially to buy this wonder.
I didn't use that one at all.
No, I think the first time I used it, Jason was like, hang on, that's really good. And after that was that.
But I think I would have used it a bit more if I'd been able to plan my actions a little better. But next time I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think another game of this will be quite different because we've all got expectations on how things are going to work and kind of got the... We know what's important and what's not. I mean, I tried to tell them from the... I mean, I've never played it before either. It's my first game. I told them that this... the food wheel was probably most important because food was the currency. Certainly initially. And I think I was probably right. Early doors, it probably is. It lets you put people on the board and all those kind of things. But I think as time progresses, it becomes less and less important. In fact, to the point where I wasn't really getting food at the end. I had my food had my farm there covered, so I was all right for food. But yeah, it was literally just putting people on the board. I think the wheel at the top there, that one there, quite a lot of useful things in there. Pretty much the only place to get stone from, which is one, and crystals. Yeah, absolutely. And gold, obviously, but it's got a bit of food on there as well. You get the benefits from your tech, wood and whatnot. So I think there's lots going on in that one. I think if I played this again, I'd probably plumb for that over that gear, in fact.
Well, overall, I definitely give this a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it's very good, yeah.
Good night. Well, that's good.
That was Tzolkin.
Right, let's on to the next game.